every work eventually comes to a stop. Welcome to the Abyss Garden, a secluded land where we create endless pathways, unique cards made to inspire your stories, and to help you design unique artworks. This week, we are once again losing ourselves into the tale of a new character. For each of these 6 days from Monday to Saturday, we are selecting a random card from our endless collection. Their purpose is to help us rekindle the flames of creation, to help us bring to life a new scene in the garden. The pathway we used today was called the Crystallized Hopes, and it states that environments influence the viability of their entity's path. This sentence could have led to a myriad of different interpretations, but given the path of our tale, what stuck with me the most was this idea that some behaviors may only evolve in very specific places. Here, what we knew from our carver is that its life work was to carve the fate of others onto hanging seeds, and that at the end of this process, we would find these same carvings at the bottom of the seafloor, which leads us to a missing piece, a device, a tool, a way for these seeds to get from the hanging forest to the sea. And thus the idea of the first cauldron came to be, a humongous seed with its top open, a holder filled by a boiling pool of darkness, a passage from the hanging forest to the rest of the garden. On its outside, we can see a representation of its purpose. The carving shows a faraway object growing in importance, in relevance, as it sinks into the center of all. The ripples of fate are expanding from its fall. It surely is a bit of a cryptic representation, but I felt like it suited this place quite well. And finally, above our cauldron, we find the carver with its final piece, ready to throw it into the void. That's actually kind of interesting. I do feel like this series of doodle, this third tiny tale, seems to have turned into more of an expedition into the process of carving fate. Rather than following the adventurous journey of a character, we are left observing the daily life of our carver. I can't say that I dislike it though. Answering questions and finding reasons for the events unfolding in a garden is a fascinating endeavor. In the end, this scene probably lacks some elements to anchor the cauldron within the hanging forest. It could have been a good idea to physically attach it to the hanging branches, especially for this doodle. But my mind went towards another route. The idea that this pool of boiling darkness hasn't been made here, that artifacts technology were probably used to transform it and prop it up to the edges of the hanging forest. And so it made more sense to have a clear cut between it and the forest itself, even though at the moment it might feel odd to see it protruding up like that. But in any case, I guess it's time to discover the new pathway that emerged from this scene. Its name is the finished piece, and it states that every work eventually comes to a stop. Every work eventually comes to an end was my initial take on it, but that's not the exact idea that I wanted to express with this card. It is meant to represent that even though each work could be perfected indefinitely, there is always a time at which a process has to be stopped. Here, it alludes to the fact that a carver has to throw out the fate it carved before the time comes for it to happen. What stops it is the inevitability of incoming events. It has to finish its piece and let it unfold. Or does it? If you end up finding inspiration from this card, I'd love to hear about it. Also, if you end up creating some artworks from one of our pathways, contact me. I'd probably be happy to send you some physical ones as a gift. But in the meantime, I wish you a nice day. And I'll see you tomorrow for the continuation of our tiny tale.